everybody, and welcome to Sunday Brunch. I am your host, and it is such a pleasure to see you all this morning. I want to welcome you all, and thank you, Tom Jr. Jackson, my moderator, collaborator, and good friend. For we are all good people for always being here. Thank you so much, Tom Jr. Jackson. Hope you are well. I want to say good morning to you all. Good morning to Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington, who says, Brunchers, assemble. I love it. Guys, Russ is not here today, but do make sure you check out his Amazon storefront where you can pick up his Gladiatrix series coming up. Going to be more on that in Roman Empire Matters. Also, guys, check out Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington's channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and support all the members in this fantastic community. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies says, greetings and felicitations, hip hip hurrah, tally ho. Yes, Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. I absolutely love that kind of greeting in the morning. I have to say it like that. um, Tom Jr. Jackson reminds us if you're on Twitch, don't forget I stream on Twitch, Positive Fandom and Roman Empire Matters. Guys, follow me on Twitch. I almost have 50 followers on Twitch, which I was very surprised by. A lot of you who are here, but also a lot of people who are only subscribed to Twitch. And it's so great to see you all here. I so appreciate it. Also, subscribe to Tom Jr. Jackson's YouTube channel. That's right, guys. The moderator here, Tom Jr. Jackson, who's a huge part of everything I do on YouTube, also has his own YouTube channel. Why not go ahead and support other creators and subscribe to Tom Jr. Jackson's channel as well as Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies channel, which I do love to watch from time to time, guys. And as you already know, I do have a new channel called Roman Empire Matters. I have one episode. I have to upload some more episodes, guys, but it's so good to see you all here today. Bonzo Kilborn. I love this. In the morning hour, she wants brunch, brunch, brunch. With a rebel yell, she wants brunch, 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 brunch. Yeah. That is so much fun, Bonzo. I love that kind of enthusiasm in the morning, people. In the morning. Irene Jobson is here. Oh, hi, Irene says, good morning, beautiful souls. The bedazzling RM with all her lustrous beauty and good old Lusty Rusty. Now, today is Lusty Rusty's birthday, and he is off celebrating his birthday with a very special lady. I want to wish them both well. Happy birthday. He's not here to Russ. Hope you are having a great day. So good to see you all. Marco is here. Hey, Marco Lani. Hi, Marco. How are you? I hope you are well. Hope the weather isn't too cold in London because boy, it sure is freezing here in New York. We are certainly getting a taste of winter, and it is really harsh. A performing artist is here. Hey, a performing artist. Hope you are well this morning. Thank you for being here. Mario Lopez is here. Says hi, everyone. Well, hello to you, Mario. So glad that you are here this morning. Darth Plato is here. Hey, Darth Plato. And as you guys know, Darth Plato and I do review historical films on a regular basis. We just finished reviewing The Pacific, which was an incredible series. I have to tell you guys, I don't know how many of you have seen The Pacific, but it is phenomenal. So even before Masters of the Air starts, even before it starts this Friday, when Darth Plato and I will be reviewing it live, we're going to be doing live watch parties. Consider watching The Pacific. I can't say enough about this series that we watched. It's available, I think, on Netflix, and it's amazing. I don't know how many of you got a chance to catch it. Um, it came out in 2010, and I can't say enough about it. What a great series! What a great program! Let me see if I can pull it up. And it has 10 episodes. It was one of the best miniseries of let's say a war program I've ever seen. I have to say that the performances were stellar, And I'm so glad that they're continuing the desire to continue to document and to dramatize what has happened during World War II. They did it, of course, first with Band of Brothers, which everybody knows about, right? Everybody knows Band of Brothers. And good morning to you, Joe Tyson. Hope you are well this morning. Good to see you. And also Thalia. Thalia, hi, Thalia. Hi from Germany. Talia, is the weather hardcore like it is here? She says, hello and happy Sunday, everyone. Well, hello, Thalia. It's so good to see you. Oh, look at this. Hunter Becknell is here. Hello, everyone. Well, hello, Hunter. Hope you are doing great. Yeah, Mario says the Pacific is great. I'm not quite sure how many people watched it. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about the Pacific, but I did want to mention it because it's so good. It's one of the best series I've ever seen. Irene says, I'm pretty sure I'm 70% frozen, even just living in the South. It's cold everywhere, isn't it, Irene? She says it's 19 degrees, but feels like 6. And Darth Plato is in a balmy 53 degrees. Well, Darth Plato, we would kill to have your 53 degrees now. Tim Jr. Jackson says it's 18, but feels like 5 today. Yeah, it's awful. We're all jealous of the 53 degrees. Stubble. Hi, Stubble. How are you this morning? I sure hope you are well, Stubble. It's so good to see you. And certainly, I'm wondering how cold it is where you are as well. Do you have single digits, double digit temperatures, going to single digit temperatures? We are all definitely feeling this incredible wave of cold here in the US and probably around the world. So good to see you all. And yes, Darth Plato and I watched all 10 episodes of the Pacific, and it's been unbelievable. And certainly, one thing I do want to mention is that they do have romance in it, and these men do have lives, even during wartime, even while they're in the middle of fighting a war. um, Romantic relationships happen. These encounters happen. One gentleman in the story gets married, and it is absolutely a beautiful story. It's sad ending because he unfortunately does fall, but what an incredible story. What a great performance by the actors in the Pacific. And I'm really excited for the upcoming series, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But certainly, let me just close that. I don't know why I did that. It wants me to play the trailer. It wants me to do all these different things. The cast was unbelievable. Look, of course, they're advertising the Navy here. James Badge Dale, who's done a number of different series. The last thing that I saw him in was Hightown, which is a series set in sort of like New England, where he plays a cop. But he's played a lot of different roles through the years. John Seda, here's some other guys: Joseph Mazzello, Ashton Holmes, of course. Rami Malek was in it, and that was in 2010. um, and the list goes on with all of the different actors who played in this, who did such a great job. But Lecky is one of the main characters. Basilone is a war hero, who unfortunately falls in the story, and we do get to see that. It's very hard to see him fall. And there were a lot of things I felt that, for a series that was bound to show some things that would be devastating to see soldiers who have fallen, I felt that they did a fantastic job. And Gary Bando Sandwich, yes, but Gary, it is coming up, isn't it? Hightown season 3 is coming up soon. It is. And I can't wait to watch what happens, especially to James Badge Dale's character, who's in love with that woman. It's gonna be cray cray. And of course, Bonzo says it's 56 degrees here and the sun just came up. Overcast, but positive fandom smile is all the light I need. Aren't you sweet, Bonzo? Thank you for saying such kind words. You guys are the ones who make me smile. So there is that. And as Darth Plato says, break out the tauntauns. Yes. Um, and of course, with all the snow that we've been getting, I haven't gotten feet, like huge amounts of snow, but I've got snow, and I do have someone who helps me with the snow. But I miss those kids who used to walk around the neighborhood and shovel. I miss them. I really didn't realize how great it was to have this fleet of kids who were determined to make money that day. They just went out with their ski suits on, the jumpsuits, and a shovel, and they were determined to go out and make cash. And I miss those boys, wherever you are. You all grew up, didn't you? It was probably some of you guys here in the chat, right? Who did that? Who knows? But I do miss it. Bonzo says, I watched Band of Brothers a long time ago. Always meant to watch the Pacific, but never got round to it. Well, Bonzo, I got to tell you, you need to check out the Pacific. And I knew I was going to be covering this new show called Masters of the Air, which I'm going to talk about in a second, with Darth Plato. He and I talked to him about it, and I thought about looking at Band of Brothers, but everybody seems to have watched that series. I don't know a man on earth who hasn't seen Band of Brothers. Of course, someone in here is going to prove me wrong, but most of the men I encounter have either heard of it, know a lot about it, or have seen the entire series more than once. It came out over 20 years ago or so, and it's part of this group. Band of Brothers was the first installment, and then the Pacific came out in 2010. And now it's 2023, and we're getting something called Masters of the Air. And the Masters of the Air looks incredible. Looks very chic and cool, because they're pilots, right? But yeah, it seems very interesting. I'm very intrigued by these pilots who pretty much put their whole lives on the line, just like everybody else. But they have to do it flying an airplane. So yeah, Bonzo, definitely check out the Pacific. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. It's 10 episodes. It's on Netflix. Go ahead and binge it and let us know what you thought of it, either here next week or whenever you finish watching it, or while you watch along with us for Masters of the Air. Thalia says that the weather was hard during the week, but starts to get a bit warmer now where I live. That's good, Thalia. I'm glad to hear that. That ice is not friendly. I'm not enjoying that ice out there, and it's very dangerous. And people are having falls and all this sort of stuff. Mario says old stuff is better than most stuff made today. I have watched this week World War Z and I Am Legend. Great films. We need to find or rewatch things that were made in the past. Definitely, Mario. I love World War Z. And is there a sequel to World War Z? I think there might be. I hope they do kind of make it. It would be great. It's been enough years that they've stepped away from World War Z that we could watch it. But I enjoyed World War Z a lot, and I wouldn't mind if they brought Brad Pitt back to do the second part. I could be wrong, but I think it was a second part. Tom Jr. Jackson says, I think it was last year I watched Band of Brothers, and after each episode, I would listen to the official podcast that would go with each episode. Yeah, Tom, that sounds amazing. And I haven't listened to the podcast, but it sounds like something that would be interesting to listen to and hear more about what happened. Irene says that she has seen Band of Brothers even twice, maybe. Yeah, it was a very popular series, Irene. And yes, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movie says we've all seen at least 2 episodes of Band of Brothers. Masters of the Air looks to be a good one. Yes. So what I was going to recommend, there's still time even before Masters of the Air really starts to kick in. Go ahead and watch the Pacific. It's really just as I had said before when I was watching it, they have no escape. They're a lot of times they're kind of these Marines are brought to an island and they're stuck there and there's no escape. There's nowhere to go. So they're pretty much just fully engaged all the time. And it just was such an incredible performances in the series. So yes, the next series that's coming up that I give it a 10. It says 8.3. I give it a 10 out of 10. Um, I'm surprised there aren't more people watching it now because it's part of the Band of Brothers, the Pacific, and then Masters of the Air situation. But that's okay. Like they don't have to do that. But let me just go to Masters of the Air so I can talk about that, because Austin Butler, who did such an incredible job playing Elvis just a few years ago. I don't know what it is, but it was literally just a few years ago where he played Elvis, and it was just remarkable. What a performance he gave in that. But there's so much that they're showing with Masters of the Air, and there's a lot of expectations about this. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's going to really be one of the best World War II dramatizations of pilots during World War II. And, these photos are remarkable, of course. I hope that's not popping up there. But it says during World War II, 5 miles above the ground, And behind enemy lines, 10 men inside a bomber known as a flying fortress battle unrelenting flocks of German fighters. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see who's in this series, guys. As I told you, we do, of course, have the incomparable Austin Butler, who's certainly proven himself after playing Elvis. And I thought he was quite graceful in the role of Elvis. I think he played it with he was so gentle and I have no idea whether Elvis was like that or not, but I just really think he was a beautiful, beautiful depiction of the man. Gary Bando Sandwich says Elvis in planes. Well, he was Elvis in the Air Force? He was in the military, right? Was it the Army? It was the Army, wasn't it? I always get that mixed up. Elvis did serve in World War II, right? Or was it another action? Well, he was in uniform. I know that. He was drafted, I think. Keely Chow says, hello, everybody. Good morning. Well, good morning to you, Keely Chow. Roll Tide. Hope you are well. Keely Chow, we are talking about these incredible World War II series that started with Band of Brothers, continues with the Pacific, and of course, this Friday will be coming out with the most incredible series, which I think we've never seen anything like this, perhaps Masters of the Air. I don't know if there is anything like this out there. And certainly this is going to be one to talk about for quite some time. Um, Mr. Londell's Groovy Movie says, if you can find a Marine from that time period and he's willing to tell you of his experiences, you should talk to them. I will consider that. I will consider that. Of course, it'll be somebody who's in their 90s, 80s, and 90s, right? That whole generation, the greatest generation is what they are called. And certainly, if you are lucky, of course, I do remember my relatives when they were alive talking about this, but none of them were Marines. Almost all of them were in the Army, and of course, fighting not in the Pacific. Many of them either ended up in North Africa or in Europe. So I don't know anyone from that area in the Pacific, nor do I even know a pilot in my family. But some of you might have relatives or have spoken to those soldiers who pretty much did such an amazing job during the war. And certainly we are all grateful for their sacrifices. And thank you, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies. I will certainly seek that out next time I see these guys, these VFW guys who are always trying to raise money for the VFW. I will certainly find out where they were. Yes. Uh, let's see. Uh, oh, okay. Yes. He says that Elvis was drafted and served in peacetime army in Germany. Thank you, Mr. Landell's Groovy Movies. I remember he was in a uniform and he looked good in that uniform, Mr. Landell. He looked really good. Elvis looked quite handsome in that uniform. A performing artist says Austin Butler certainly deserved his Oscar nomination. He did. He certainly did. I wasn't sure whether they should have opened up a best Oscar for performance in a musical, and kind of like, because we have best actor in a drama comedy, and they kind of put them all together, and maybe they should break up those categories to give out more Oscars. But Austin was phenomenal in that, and I think he did deserve his nomination. It would have been great to have seen him get an award. Mario Lopez says, there alongside the defenseless B-17, German ace Franz Stigler decided to break the cycle of violence, to spare the bomber and escort it out of Germany. I love this true story. Wow, I love stories like that. And I will be watching things like that, Mario Lopez, if there is a dramatization of it or even a documentary. It is all so wonderful. And so Masters of the Air is going to be starting on Friday, everybody. Certainly do check it out. Oops, that was my that's my air dryer. Do check out Masters of the Air. Like I said, we're going to be covering it on Friday. I'm not quite sure what time it gets released. In other words, I don't know what time it will be showing on Apple TV. The time of day. That's what I'm saying. I think it comes out on Friday. So, Darth Plato, as soon as I find out, I'll schedule it, but I can't remember what time they said it was going to be released. And the trailer looks amazing. It's just unbelievable. They've got these different photos. Maybe we could look at some of the photos just really quick. of some of the stars in it. And oh, look at Austin Butler. Look at that. He looks like he just stepped right out of World War II. It's incredible the work and the effort that they make to make this look real, to make us see what it looked like at the time. Wow. Um, this is going to be so amazing. Just checking out some of the other pilots as well. And I know the Tuskegee Airmen are also in this because I saw the trailer. That's those guys are in there. We can see them, some of them here. Just unbelievable what they're doing here. I just love it. Um, it's just so good. And I think I'm going to learn a lot because I learned a lot. I did learn a lot when I was watching the Pacific because there was a lot of stuff that I really didn't know all the details of. And mind you, I certainly did learn about World War II in school. However, I did not go through more than, the bare minimum, which is what they teach you. Irene says my grandfather was in the Navy during World War II, but he just helped clean up after Pearl. Hey, 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 hey. Look, that's still doing your part, Irene. So don't worry about what he just helped clean up. That's all part of your service. So while it's not the same as some of the other roles, in some of these positions and some of these things, these guys are trained to do all the different actions. They have to do all the different parts. They have to be able to load a gun. They have to be able to, and I don't mean like a rifle. I mean some of the larger guns. They have to be trained on all that sort of stuff. So depending upon where he was, he might have had to do different things. So he did his part, and we're grateful for that. All right. So I think it's fine that he helped doing that. Somebody has to do that, right, Irene? Someone has to do that. Um, and Darth Plato says he served via selective service. He wasn't drafted. Right. That is very true. Masters of the Air, thank you for your services, Gary Bano Sandwich Worthington. Look at how great this looks. This looks like they just did such a beautiful job of making this look very exciting. And I know it's war, but it does look exciting because they are pilots. Um, all right. Yes, Stubble. This is one of those questions about Shogun and it coming out. Shogun, I'm going to talk about Shogun. And yes, I would actually like to watch the original Wat Kati Muska, which is the only thing I remember um, about it, Stubble. And you have asked me about the original one in the past. Let's see how that goes because if I can do it, I'll see if I can schedule it in. I am not streaming as much as I used to, guys. I don't know if you know this, but I absolutely am not streaming live as much as I used to. Maybe I stream only live on 2 days, which is Fridays and Sundays. So, and then I do record other shows in the interim between that time. But I'm not able to do that on Saturdays. Now I am doing EDM stuff again, which is back on, which I'm happy about. So I'm not necessarily able to stream on the weekends like I used to, which was I was streaming a lot. But um, it is good to see you. And so, yeah, I have to talk to you more about that, Stubble, trying to figure it out. I know you asked me about it. So we'll go from there, Stubble. Let's figure out what happens about the original Shogun series. Mr. Londell says Greyhound is another movie everyone should see. Yes, Greyhound is a great film, Mr. Londell. And Darth Plato and I have done a watch party of that film. And I did want to mention with Greyhound, one thing that I was going to say about it, and I guess I should have known this. You see, I had always heard about the blockade. Is that what it was called? I had always heard about it. I'd always heard about it. Let's say people talk about it and what happened during that time, but I'd never seen a dramatization about it. I've never seen a depiction of it. So while I understood what was happening, you see, I completely understood when they said that let's say ships either were going from in this is in the Atlantic at least, from the United States to Europe, and that they had to dodge, U-boats trying to shoot them out. If I say that verbally as a log line, then that's what the movie is about. I understand what it's talking about. However, the dramatization of it, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies, is quite different from the description in a book. And it was quite shocking and quite disturbing to see how many people lost their lives trying to get this stuff across the ocean. Yes, it was worth it, but I didn't know that this dramatization would enlighten me and show me, for all practical purposes, what happened. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know it was like that. And how could I know? I wouldn't know. The only way I would have known is if somebody who was on something like that would have described it to me. And I think Tom Hanks did a great job of it, where it was just so deadly and dangerous, and there was so much at stake. Tom Hanks, I have to salute you for making a film that certainly captured that moment, that fear, and the determination to get across the Atlantic and to get things overseas here. Here it says several months after U.S. entry into World War II, an inexperienced U.S. naval commander must lead an Allied convoy being stalked by a German submarine wolf pack, and it is suspenseful and it is terrifying, and lives are lost. Many lives are lost. It's absolutely one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And I just can't get over the sacrifices. It's just so alarming to see. So if you guys have never watched it, oh man, it just really was one of the most unbelievable things. And I think that it does get described quite accurately in a history book, but nothing can compare to this film. And Mr. Londells, I think you were right. Everybody needs to see Greyhound and understand what it means, what these guys did for us. Irene says that she never really talked to him about it because he sat on his lazy boy, gave us money and candy when my parents weren't looking, and watched NASCAR and old westerns. I love it, Irene. That's okay. You're talking about it now, right? You have the memory, and we're grateful for his service. And it does matter. Everybody plays a part, Irene. I love it. I absolutely love it. Um, Now, Hunter says my grandfather was in the Navy during World War II. He did clean up after Hiroshima. Okay, see, Irene, look at that. You see, I'm proud of everybody's role that they played to help, to really just it's the war effort, and it is a team, and it matters, guys. All of it matters. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Londel's Groovy Movies, who recommends before Greyhound, probably the best naval war movie was Enemy Below. Now, Mr. Londell Groovy Movies, that's going back, right? The Enemy Below. This like one of those cool 1950s or 60s films? Let's go ahead and check out The Enemy Below. I recommend Greyhound, everybody. It's a chilling film, and I think that it does a great job of showing us the role and what actually happened in the best manner that they can. Uh, it certainly was unbelievable. Yes, it's a 1950. Oh, look, it stars. I love this guy, Kurt Jurgens. Uh, I love these films from the 1950s and 60s. Story born in the South Atlantic. It's amazing to see this stuff, these classic films. Look at Robert Mitchum. They get men to do it. I love it. In the most amazing saga in the fighting annals of the U.S. Navy, during World War II, an American destroyer discovers a German U-boat, and in the ensuing duel, the American captain must draw upon all his experience to defeat the equally experienced German commander. The Enemy Below. I love it, and it is quite accurate description of what he's against. He's against an equal foe. This sounds amazing. I'm gonna watch it, Mr. Londo's Groovy Movies, the next time it shows up on Turner Classics, which I'm sure it will, guys. Yeah, Stubble, I can't get over how good Apple TV is. When I was at the con at the New York Comic Con in October of 2023, just this past fall, Apple TV had a huge kiosk and area where they were premiering a lot of their shows, and they don't really make bad programming. I don't care for everything Apple TV makes, but they're so good. And perhaps they are turning into the new HBO. I love HBO as well, but I think Apple TV has a different aesthetic. They have a different approach to a lot of things. They have a lot of fantasy and folk tale stuff that I enjoy so much. Of course, they have For All Mankind, but the list goes on and on and on about Apple TV. I can't get enough of them, and I think that they're here to stay. They probably have programming planned out for years and years to come. God bless them for making Masters of the Air. I'm so pleased as punch that they are doing that. Bonzo Kilborn says Tom Hanks certainly does his part to chronicle World War II. Doesn't he though? I think that he's dedicated. I think that he realizes he had that book that came out a few years ago, maybe it was last year, about making movies and how important it is to him. And I like his approach. I think that his approach is like films like The Enemy Below, or even when he does this mini series, if you will, for Masters of the Air. The approach is um quite respectful, and using real soldiers' stories is also quite touching as well. Um, the performing artist says, I think an underrated movie I love is K-19, The Widowmaker with Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson. Yeah, that was also a great film as well. And I have heard of that film, and I've heard a lot of people talk about how incredible it is. And thank you for mentioning it a performing artist. So, guys, yes, I am very happy about seeing this. I certainly am gonna be looking at The Enemy Below. But another thing I want to talk about is Reacher season 2, and how well it's doing, and how everybody loves Reacher. Reacher's back. I love that promo. I love that promo. I mean, they really are playing off of Alan Richardson's strengths. Have any of you been watching Reacher season 2, the second season, and what you think? Darth Plato, you were asking me about this the other day. Yes, I did watch the finale, and I loved it. I loved the finale. I thought it was fantastic. I felt that it went into a realm about the character. I don't necessarily want to do spoilers for Reacher, but I think it went into a realm about the character where he needed to go, because I think that one of the interesting parts about this season was that so many lives were lost, and I think there that perhaps had things been a little different in his behavior, maybe not just him, but in the way that his team were to one another, things might have turned out differently. They might have turned out differently, guys. So that's something to think about going forward. And certainly something to look forward to. So if you haven't seen Reacher, it says Reacher, but it's actually Reacher season 2. We're joined back with Reacher here. It says 2022. That's the original series. So Reacher 2023 just came out in pretty much December, and it's equally fantastic. I love the cast. They brought back Maria Sten, who plays Neely, who's she's one of his crew from his military days. We also see Finley back again, Malcolm Goodwin, but then we get to see the rest of the special investigators, this incredible team. Ironically, they pick Robert Patrick as kind of the bad guy, and I liked seeing Robert Patrick. He looked good. He still packed a little bit of a punch. It's so wonderful, and I think that he was just amazing in this. Now, Bonzo talks about Alan Richardson is Batman. Alan Richardson could probably play anything. He has that look. He's good, and I think he's appealing. He has a wonderful kind of charisma about him, and I love that. I think that one thing about him, just when you look at him, is that he has a desire to play more roles. He was in, I think, Fast 10 for a short time, but he was in Titans. I think it's called Titans. I think he's gonna go far. I think that this character he plays as Reacher, even he has mentioned that he could play Reacher for perpetuity. But a lot of people want to see him as Batman. A lot of people want to see him in, yeah, he was Hero, right? Um he was hero in Titans, and then like he wasn't in the show for I think the latter seasons, but I think a lot of people would be happy to see him playing any role. To be honest with you, he could probably play any role. Do you guys think he could play Thor? Could he play what else do you think? I see you seeing playing, oh gee, saying he could play Batman. A lot of you guys want him to play Batman. I think he can do so much, and I just hope he gets the opportunity to do that because I think his career is really just starting as far as I'm concerned. Yes, he did play Aquaman. A lot of people were saying that they would have liked him to play Aquaman. I said that he can still play Aquaman. It's not over. Like, he still can, because I think that the Aquaman that Jason Momoa played was kind of a stand alone character as far as I'm concerned. And that's fine. I think if you go ahead and you have a character that has different depictions, at least don't throw away the original. This is some discussion that I was having last week. Why not bring Alan Ritchson in for another adventure of Aquaman and make it different? It doesn't have to be like Momoa's Aquaman. It doesn't. Just like in a comic book run where they might do a comic book run and you'll have a very different depiction of a character, go ahead and do this with Alan Ritchson. I think he could add a very different element of Aquaman. And of course, we already know he played it in Smallville. If not that Aquaman, a different one. I think he has the potential to do so much. Gary Bando Sandwich Worthington says Hawkman. Yes. And Darth Plato is saying, not Batman or Thor. Okay, fair enough. I think that should be interesting as well. But it's something to think about going forward, what Alan Ritchson is doing, because Reacher has certainly had reach for him as an actor. I think a lot of people know who he is now, and they do understand that. Well, of course, this particular series is what I would call it goes on the list of toxic male, and I love it because of that reason. I love the masculinity of it. I love the power behind Reacher. He hasn't really lost any of that. Boy, he took a ton of punches in this one, guys. He like I don't know how he did it. But he really takes a beating and just keeps on, he took a licking and keeps on ticking, I think was the name of this watch company advertisement. But Reacher, he really did. And I have to give them credit for doing that. He's not always going to be necessarily the person who has the advantage all the time, or someone who has the element of surprise all the time. And when things are down, he doesn't give up. So I think that is really interesting that he decides to do that. Oh my goodness. So that was another program that I was watching this weekend. And yeah, you guys, Bonzo was saying, Hemsworth is Thor. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Fair enough, Bonzo. Something to think about. Let's see. Oh, yes. A lot of you are saying no for Thor. I'm trying to think of where he would go with his career, because he's not nearly over playing these roles. And I think he fits in well, especially to superhero roles. He has a special knack for doing that. And I think that is so important for a lot of what he's doing. So if I were to compare the first season of Reacher to the second season, they're very different seasons. They're very different seasons. They're not similar as far as I'm concerned in any way, because in the first season, you're kind of getting to know Reacher. And I think in the second season, we understand that he works with a team, and the team is important. In the first season, it felt like he was somewhat more alone. But now we have this team of people. I also wanted to talk about this character whose name escapes me. He was a New York City cop in the story. And in the story, something happens to him. And a lot of people responded and complained about how his story ended up. And I thought to myself, they liked this character. He's a favorite, like a favorite character in the story, and people were disappointed. I think it is really interesting when you look at this. Certainly, I wasn't expecting to love another character in Reacher, and here he is, this gentleman who plays this New York City detective. I just fell in love with him. He butt heads with Reacher in the story, and he went toe to toe with him more or less. Very intelligent, and certainly I think it was amazing what they were able to do with this character. A performing artist says, I would love to see him, Alan, as Bruce Banner, alter ego to Mark Ruffalo's Incredible Hulk. Yeah, why not? Why not have something like that? I think that is a great idea. And Marco says he thinks he's perfect for Ben Grimm. Now I don't know who Ben Grimm is, but you could explain it to me another time. Um, Something to think about. Bonzo says that he thinks that season 2 probably had more budget to cast a team. Yeah, maybe, maybe. Something to think about there. Um, yes, and Darth Plato, I'm right on board with that one. Tom June Jackson says the Reacher books are excellent and really worth the read. Yes, I don't have the books, of course. I have the audiobook, right, Tom? You know me and my audiobooks. I love the audiobook and to hear him talking. I can't remember if it's Lee Child who does it or who the audiobook person is, but yes, it is Russo. It's Russo. Russo is the bald guy in Reacher. And in the story, I don't want to spoil it, but something happens to him. And there was an outcry from the public. Mind you, people were not like, I'm just like really pissed off. They were just disappointed in Russo's let's say storyline. And I'm not going to say I wasn't disappointed in it. I was actually very surprised at how he worked so well with Reacher. And the funny part really about it was how they went toe to toe. Like they were like, yeah, let's take it outside. And Reacher's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do this. And I just like was laughing about it because like he was like, I don't care how big you are, we're doing this. Like you can't, there's no bluff. Like Russo wasn't bluffing. Like he's ready to do this, and so is Reacher. And it's like the greatest thing ever. I love that. I love that manly attitude. I love that the chemistry they had together, that macho chemistry where they're just gonna like, one person on one side of the boxing ring, one person on the other. It was just incredible how good they were on screen together. And I hope that they get to do more projects together. Going forward. Darth Plato was disappointed in the finale. I love the finale, Darth Plato. So I loved it. What did some of you other guys think about the finale of Reacher? Have you seen it going forward? Let's see what everybody else thinks too. Oh yeah, Marco, the Thing from Fantastic Four. Yes, yes, I could see him doing that. Couldn't you guys see that? Oh my gosh, Reacher would be so good. Alan Richardson. Alan Richardson would be so good in that role. I think he would be great there. And he just is like a wall. There you can see him next to one of his other co-stars and his commanding officer there in the military. We do learn about a little bit more about his time in the military. Of course, he was a team leader here. Of course, I'm sure there's an official military term for it. Lead investigator, senior investigator, whatever you want to call it. It was remarkable. I love the team that they had. Look at him punching through as he punched through glass there. I love it. One of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite scenes in I think it's in Cyborg. I could be wrong, but I think it's Cyborg. Is where Jean-Claude Van Damme kicks somebody, but he has to punch through a glass window, kind of like this in a car. Is the best thing ever. I'm like, yes, I want to see things like this. I want to see Reacher go hardcore. And it's just amazing to see him there. His expressions are priceless. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Um, of course, that's from season 1 there. Some of those shots are from season 1. Yeah, that's all season 1. Gosh, if you guys haven't seen Reacher, I don't think there's anybody who hasn't seen Reacher, but if you haven't seen Reacher, you definitely need to go ahead and see that series. I recommend it highly, and I just love Reacher. Look at him. Oh, there we go. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, he is so good to watch. He just encapsulates this character so well. Now, thank you guys. Thank you. I didn't know that he was the Thing from Fantastic Four, so I apologize. Marco said the Thing, Ben Grimm. Thank you, Mr. Lando's Review Movies, and Marco for letting me know. Um, yes, yeah, I don't know who's in the audiobook. I could look, and see on my audio, Audible, welcome to Audible, and see who does, Lee Child's books. I don't read when I say I don't read books, I only read if I absolutely have to. Um, and when I say I don't read, what I mean is I don't put a book to my face to read. Let's see. It's by narrated by Scott Brick. Even that name sounds hardcore, right? Um, but you can hear the narration of Reacher, the character, and Scott Brick does such a great job. He does such a great job. Um, let's see. A performing artist says, "Oh, better idea. I think I would like to Alan as Swamp Thing or as James Gunn." Yeah, yeah, I could see him as Swamp Thing. I could see him as Swamp Thing, no problem. A performing artist, yes. We're looking for someone who can play those roles. I would like to see him in that. Yeah, Mario, you need to see Reacher. If you have time, just check it out and come back and let us know what you think about Reacher, Mario. I'd like to get your opinion about the series, to see what your thoughts are of this incredible depiction. And as I said, in the audiobook, it's narrated by Scott Brick. You know, I had to look it up, Tom. I didn't know. I had to I had to look it up on my phone, on my Audible thing here. Is it even showing? Sometimes it won't show on the screen because I have a thing that blurs the screen. So I'm on focus, but everything else is blurred. But I had to look it up on my phone to see who did it. And it's a great Audible book. Stavros is here. Stavros, how are you? I hope you are well. It says, hey, y'all. Um, uh, yeah, surprise. I almost missed this. Yeah, Stavros, is good to see you. Have you seen the Pacific and Band of Brothers, and are you excited for Masters of the Air? And have you seen Reacher, Stavros? Have you seen that series? It would be great to see that. And who do you think um, Alan Richton can play going forward if he were to play a superhero or whatever role that you'd like to see him in? Let us know. Stubble says if they're doing X-Men, he would be fit for Colossus if he gets the accent right. Yeah, I think he could do accents. I think Alan Richton can do it. I think he's capable. Oh, thank you, Stavros, for the earring compliments. I do appreciate it. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. So definitely was letting me know the rank and file, guys. Rank and file majors are usually executive officers on a staff. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, it's something to think about. Yes, thank you. You know what? I think that that is a very appropriate comment. Gary Vander Sanders Worthington, who says Reacher is smashing. Yes, he is the most purest, maybe beautiful form of toxic male I've seen in ages, and I just love his just down to the bare basics. He has sex in this show. Like, thank you for doing that. Thank you for giving me a man who has sex with a woman. And if he wanted to have sex with a guy, that'd be another show. But the point that I'm making is he needs to be a sexual being. I think, intimacy is so important. And I love that they show that he is an intimate kind of person. And yeah, he always manages to do something that's incredible, and he doesn't give up. I think it was amazing that he did this. Now, Mario, it's interesting that you mentioned the Terminator, because of course my first thought is wasn't it funny that we had this actor here um in the story as the bad guy, because he was in Terminator, right, guys? Do you remember? I can't remember which it was, a Terminator 2 or Terminator 3. Robert Patrick played a Terminator. So let me just see if I can find it. And I'm sorry for the advertisements. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Robert Patrick plays a Terminator in that. This is him. This is Robert Patrick a bazillion years ago as a Terminator. He was so good. There's him on a podcast, Sopranos. I wonder. Yeah, there he is in Reacher. Robert Patrick looked amazing in this. And wouldn't it be funny if not that I don't really think it's even possible. But wouldn't it be funny if they made Robert Patrick and Alan Richton return in a Terminator show? That would be unbelievable. All right. something to think about. But yes, I have to say it again. Gary Banjo Sandwich Worthington, Reacher is smashing. Okay. I really enjoyed that. Mario Lopez says he could be a new Terminator. Yes, I did read that. And Stavros says Echo and Percy Jackson both made me cry this week. Now, I don't know if I got the right episode. Let me just look and see for Percy Jackson because I haven't been watching Echo, but let me just see Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I have to say it like that. Excuse me, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I like this show. I think it's a fun show to watch.
Because he was a hero?
I
Because
think
he
it's a
was
great
brave
introduction,
and
especially
kind.
and I am going to say this for children into for all practical purposes mythology. I don't remember what happened in this week's episode. Let me just see if I'm the right one because let's see. I heard they journey across the underworld. I don't think I saw that one. It says the 23rd. I haven't that hasn't come out yet. So it must be the previous one. And of course, Walker Scoble. I don't know anything about him. Plays Percy. I've been enjoying it. I've been watching it. And of course, it is not too different from some of the other ones I've seen. Here it says, "We Take Zebras to Vegas" was the most recent episode. I'm not quite sure. Was he in that? Was this I can't remember this guy's name, but let's see who's there. Yeah, Lin Manuel Miranda does play Hermes. Hermes. He's in there. So yeah, I guess he is in it. He must be the guy at Vegas when they go or something like that. I can't remember what happened in the episode. But is it the one where he has to sit in the golden chair? If I remember, there was like a golden chair and they go to an amusement park. That's the last episode I saw. But yeah, it was amazing. We're seeing Lin Manuel pop up in a lot of places in entertainment. Certainly, I hope he continues to do so. And I like pretty much everything he makes. So it is fun to see these other series. Might be one of the nicest Disney series I've seen in a while. So there's that. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movie says that Scott Brick is one of Audible's most famous readers. Yeah, I'm not surprised of that at all. He's like the baker for video games. Um, Now, Stavros says that the Philadelphia Auto Show was great and it was an awesome seeing Philly in white. Turns out snow can cancel out pollution, so it was breathable time. Good for you. Um, so let's see. Dixon was Zatanna in Smallville too. Okay, awesome. And let's see. Stavros says, "Did any of you see Hooneman, the Indian Superman movie?" No, I have not. I haven't watched any. I haven't watched any Indian films so far this year. But I want to see it. Stavros, do you recommend it? Is it a film that we should see? I'm certainly will check it out if you think it is good. Yes, he was the T1001 or 1001. Um, Tom says that was a great scene in Reacher with him and the whole "who is Sarah Connor." Yes. Robert Patrick's comment on Sarah Connor and Reacher almost made me cough up my drink. Yes, guys. So that's why I was thinking that maybe there's going to be some kind of crossover, guys. Of course, we're saying there was a Terminator Easter egg in season 2 of episode 2 of Reacher. Not a surprise there. We love that sort of stuff, don't we? And Bosco Scenario says, "Positive Fandom, top of the morning to you." Well, top of the morning to you, the Bosco Scenario. Good to see you. Yes, Stavros says, yeah, Austin Butler is certainly on the rise. I think it's going to be wonderful to see more of him. And I do want to see him in some more romances, guys. I want to see some romance with Austin Butler and some beautiful actress going forward. I think that will be wonderful. Speaking on the subject of Terminator, I'm in the middle of season 2 on the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I love who they chose to play the robots. Now, I haven't seen the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That is very interesting. And I should just see if I can find it. Here it is. Terminate. Is this it? The Sarah Connor Yeah, this is it. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I love this actress who they have in it. And that was a series that was from his future. It looks great. It looks great. That looks like Lena Headley. I could be wrong. Is it? Yeah, it is. Lena Headey. Lena Headey, she plays I guess Sarah Connor. And yeah, Thomas Decker, Summer Glau is in it. I remember her from Firefly. Certainly can't forget her fantastic performance in that as well. I'm going to try and watch this. How many seasons did it go for? Was it multiple seasons? It says 31 episodes. That's a good amount of episodes. Set after the events in Terminator Judgment Day, Sarah Connor and her son, John, try to stay under the radar from the government as they plot to destroy the computer network Skynet in hopes of preventing Armageddon. Wow, I really like that. Look at the poster. That looks great. That looks great. Like, it almost looks like a romance novel. You know? Okay, maybe it doesn't look like a romance novel to you guys, but it looks like a romance novel to me, like a science fiction. She's got the gun, and right, kind of like she's trying to protect everybody there. I don't know. And she doesn't know what to do. The gun is like against her head. It's really, I really like it. Um So Stubble says, I don't think Austin will have much of a romance in Dune 2. Yeah, yeah, agreed. Bonzo says Firefly had so much potential, but bad execution. And of course, yeah, Firefly, and of course, what was the name of the series? It was Firefly and something else, right? There was a movie and there was a TV show um that had yeah, let's see. I've noticed you're holding your stream set. Yeah, I am. Um I am. And like I said, Stavros, I haven't uploaded everything yet, but I have content to upload, but I haven't done that. Um yeah, Stavros, I can't stream as much live because I'm doing things that are off, I guess off camera, so to speak, on Saturdays. I'm doing EDM. And during the week, I am traveling for work now, which I used to do all the time. And now I'm doing that. So it is quite time consuming. And so it's not possible. Thank you so much, Bonzo. It was Serenity. Thank you. Serenity. Firefly was the movie and Serenity was the TV show. That was amazing. And the two of them together, I never forget Summer Glau. She was great in it. And Marina, is it Barricon? Barricon? Morena Barricon, the beautiful woman who's also in what's the name of that movies that everybody likes, Deadpool. She's pretty much the love interest. She's absolutely wonderful, but she is in Firefly, I think, and as well as the other one. So let me just go here. Firefly. And I saw one of the stars from Firefly at the Emmys. I think she was at the Emmys, and she was one of the presenters there. She's that lady. 500 years in the future, a renegade crew aboard a small spacecraft tries to survive as they travel to the unknown parts of the galaxy and evade warring factions as well as authority agents out to get them. Yeah, it's so good. Firefly is so good. Just looking at some of the cast here. Nathan Fillion, who everybody knows. It was Gina Torres. She was at the Emmys or the Golden Globes. I think it was the Golden Globes. She was there, and I recognized her, of course, right away. It was just so great to see her. And of course, guys, you remember Alan Tudyk. He's fantastic. Oh, what's this? And what's going on here? Okay, let's see. Well, I guess I'll figure out that later. And yeah, just such a great series. Ron Glass, yes, Ron Glass. All these great actors who were in that. Even Zac Efron made an appearance at some point. So Firefly was the TV series, and then of course there was the movie as well. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. What is this? Oh, okay. That's interesting thought. Anything Tom Hanks makes it elite. Yeah, that is something to think about. That's something to think about. Yeah. a performing artist talks about Lena Headey and Sarah Connor was cast so well before Game of Thrones. Yeah, she was very sexy in Game of Thrones and very ballsy, the character where she's like, I like to have sex with this person and I don't care. It's like, I just love Game of Thrones for all that fun stuff. Yeah, why not? Sci-fi gun-toting lesbian romance? Yep. Yes. Yes, guys. Okay. Yeah, Serenity is the movie. Thank you guys so much for that, for reminding me that it was Serenity. That was the movie. Look at that, 9 out of 10. Wow, that's a great score. That's something. Gina was in Suits. Oh, hey, Old Yorkshire Geek is here. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Yeah, I hope everybody is well today. Old Yorkshire Geek playing that game. Was it Call of Duty or is it what game are you playing? I can't remember online because I noticed that you were gaming on YouTube and I couldn't remember what game you were playing, Old Yorkshire Geek. I don't know if you guys can hear me because I put the speaker down. But what is the game that you were playing, Old Yorkshire Geek, online? And let us know what's going on with you. It'd be interesting to see what's going on. I'm trying to put my Bluetooth in here. It'd be interesting to see what's going on with you. So please do let us know. And let me just make sure that this is the correct one. It should say speakers. Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for that. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Mirage. Yes. Yes. Thank you. So guys, do check out Yorkshire Geeks Assassin's Creed Mirage that he's playing. It'd be great to watch another gamer doing that going forward. So so there is that. Let me see if I can just play this thing here. So let's see. Yeah, it is Russ's birthday this weekend, so he's not here. But you can wish him a happy birthday. He is away celebrating, as he should, guys, as he should, having a wonderful time. Oh, spending hours. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Assassin's Creed will have things, challenges like that in the game. And so guys, do check that out. Now, this is very interesting. Um, Stavros says, "Who would have guessed Reacher will have a full fan base ahead? Alan's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle days are certainly behind him." Yeah, it was it. You know, sometimes it does take a certain amount of time to get that that group of people after you. Also, to be honest with you, I think that Alan has so much talent that he was going to be a success regardless. Um, so here goes. Mario Lopez says, I'm currently watching the Netflix series Berlin, which is a prequel to the series La Casa Papel, Money Heist, and I'm enjoying it. Oh, that's good to know, Mario. You said it's Berlin. Berlin. Is it this one? Or is this a movie? I think this is no, maybe this is it, actually. Wait for these Hershey, these chocolate commercials to end.
The biggest and most prestigious auction.
It looks interesting. Oh, wow, look at the cast. They certainly are good looking. La Casa de Papel Berlin is what Mario is watching. And Mario says, yeah, it's the prequel to the series La Casa de Papel Money Heist. I'm enjoying it, guys. You should probably check it out. Mario has a pretty good sense of what's good out there when it comes to entertainment, and I love hearing Mario go ahead and suggest things that I didn't know about. I got to check this out. Look at how good the cast looks. It looks amazing, Mario. I'm so glad that you are enjoying it. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. Yes, Tom. Ron Glass was in Barney Miller. Yes, and that as I don't know if I've told you this, Tom, but Barney Miller always reminds me of my dad. Now, I don't know why a police precinct should remind me of my dad. I know he had friends that were police officers back in the 60s and 70s. But my dad kind of worked in corporate America, and I'm not quite sure what it is about Barney Miller that makes me makes me think of my father. So it's kind of weird. There is something really weird about it, and I really enjoy Barney Miller. For those of you, it's 171 episodes now on DVD. Now I know you own the DVD, right, Tom?
Yeah. Barney Miller, the complete series.
I don't know if you do, but I think you do own it, Tom. But yeah, Ron Glass was in Barney Miller, and I love this show. I immediately, as soon as I see this show, I immediately think of my dad. It's got I can't explain it. But I love it. Um uh so there. Oh, and Russ, I don't think Russ is watching the show uh right now, but we are wishing him a happy birthday to Russ, who is not here but having a great weekend. And Bonzo says he's got to fly, but have a great weekend, everybody. Namaste. You take care, Bonzo Kilborn. And Gary says Russ is in the fighting pit today. Yeah, hail Russ, absolutely. Certainly happy birthday to him. um yeah, Tom, I'm sorry about that. I can't help myself. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Berlin was a character in Money Heist, a real crazy person. All right, that's okay. Um, Tom says that Barney Miller still holds up today. It really does. It really does hold up today, and that's a series that I absolutely can't get enough of. They are such a great cast of men in this precinct. It is amazing. Another birthday wish for us. It says, happy birthday, Russ, you bloody part timer. Well, happy birthday to you, Russ. Again, it's so good. Enjoy. I hope you're enjoying your birthday and doing so many wonderful things. And then I was also looking at other things that were out this week. I managed to watch a few films that were unexpected. A movie called Locked In, and I it's a thriller, which also surprised me that I was even watching it, but that was something that I watched that stars Famke, who I'm a huge fan of. It's a Netflix film. A kindly nurse tries to unlock the secrets of a coma patient's injury and discovers the bitter rivalry, infidelity, betrayal, and murder. And it was good. This is a good film. It says 5 out of 10, but I would give it much higher rating. I think that the three actors in this had so much chemistry together. It was phenomenal. So that was another one that I watched as well. All right. So what else was I going to say? Now, in regards to The Walking Dead, that's what Mario's talking about. Rick Grimes and Michonne will be back soon. I'm excited to return to The Walking Dead. So am I. I didn't know that you were a fan of The Walking Dead, but Mario, you and I have a lot to talk about. I absolutely love The Walking Dead, and I think Daryl Dixon, that series hit it out of the ballpark for me. I don't know how you felt about it, Mario, but it was one of my favorite series of 2023. I think it was phenomenal. Yes, Old Yorkshire Geek, she still looks amazing. I love Famke. I think she's so talented. She really is an incredible actress. And, I think it's great that she's still doing films. Not a lot of people are doing that. And it's just so wonderful that she's deciding to go ahead and continue on acting and going forward. Um, yes. So, about the only other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I did want to get your guys' opinions about it, although I don't necessarily talk about this. Oh yes, Crime Story with Dennis Farina. That was a great series. Yeah, yeah, I don't know where you would watch it. Crime Story. Maybe it's available on if you had what is it called? And a VPN. But yeah, Crime Story. He looks good in that. I think they've tried to do those sort of period style shows before, and not everybody can play it. Not everybody can play the role, but I think Dennis Farina made a great detective in this Crime Story here as well. So I could share it here. Yeah, he was great. So let's see here. I can't play it because I'll get pulled down, but It was wonderful. The saga of a Chicago police detective's efforts to stop young Hood's ruthless rise in the ranks of organized crime. It was great. That was a great series as well. Now, let's see what else what I was gonna talk to you guys about. So a very odd letter was sent out from some investors in Disney. And I don't ever talk about Disney. Like I never really, it's not really like my top topic of choice. I'm not sort of like one of the people who regularly post stuff about Disney and stuff like that. But I thought this was very interesting. And I'm on a Patreon with Cameron, who you guys have seen me stream with before. And he is a good friend of mine as well. I've hung out with Cameron here um many times in LA and in New York. We've actually hung out together. Um, but what I thought was interesting was this letter that someone posted, and I don't even know if I can bring it up. But so I'm a member of his Patreon, of Cameron's Patreon, and I was just so shocked by what I saw, and it was this very odd um letter that was put out, and I hope I can find it because I had it on here. I had it on here, but I might have yeah, here it is. So yeah, it has to do with a letter that that a group of people who are complaining about content that was being sent out from Disney. Hey, Miss Martin Muses, how are you, guys? Hey, good to see you, Miss Martin Muses. Had a great discussion about our favorite books the other day on Miss Martin Muses' YouTube channel. So I hope you guys are checking out Miss Martin Muses when she comes on. I enjoyed the discussion the other day where we were talking about what is your favorite book, and I was telling Miss Martin Muses definitely my favorite book is Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. So it's good to see you, Miss Martin Muses, guys. I hope you're subscribing to her channel and checking her out on YouTube. Yes. Oh, Yorkshire Geek. That's true. Well, the reason why it's rare is because he is working, obviously, but I think he was on he gets on Heath's Geek Versus channel quite a bit, guys. So you can find um Cameron on there a little bit. I think he was on there last week. And guys, here's Miss Martin's Muse's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks, Tom. It's such a pleasure. It is my pleasure, Miss Martin Muses, to see you here. And certainly, what I was going to say is that this letter, like, it kind of threw me because I'm not accustomed to seeing stuff like this, and I don't even know if I can share it. Can I share it? It's a letter, and the letter has to do with a complaint that I guess a stockholder or someone who owns it's like the strangest thing I've ever seen. Essentially, what the letter is that it's saying that they want Disney to kind of like give better content. I'm going to do this properly. I don't know if you can see it, but it's this letter. I'm trying to get rid of that side part. Just one second. And how do I do that? I just want it to be full screen. Oh, there's something covering the corner. That's why. I think it's over here. Is it? Is it covering the corner? It is not. What's that? That means no, we don't. We want it. I want this to collapse. Anyway, 2-page view annotations present. Document properties. Oh my goodness gracious. Is that the one? Nope. All right. So why am I showing this? It's because this letter, I guess more or less, according to Cameron, was presented about restoring the magic. And like, why is this relevant? Like, what does this even mean? Um, it seems like these investors are complaining about the notion of It is so strange. It says instead of having a boardroom that would include directors, is this the right one? Yes. Instead of this is someone else's words from someone from CNBC, by the way. This is not my words. This is and reality that can push perspectives to the company's challenges. Is existing change asking shareholders to succession management and fail to oversee or drive a strategy to get the streaming business to profitability or the studios to produce good content. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen anything like this in my life. Like, I've never seen a suit that says the content you guys have been producing is garbage and it's ruining our company. I think that this is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Am I surprised by it? No, I'm not surprised that people would say this. Here it says, and they talk about this in a special meeting about this. And, I think that if there's going to be a situation where even the investors are saying that the content is to blame, which I think a lot of people would say this. A lot of people would say that the content is not up to par from what we know from this company. Never in a million years did I ever think that there would be this type of a official document where they're trying to make a difference and stop them from producing bad content. At least this is what it seemed like it to me. Um, what do you guys think about this in regards to doing this? They're desperate and they want to change things. They want to restore the magic. I mean, if anything, that headline right there tells you what the goal is. They want to restore the magic. I couldn't have said it any better. That's not the one I wanted to pick. Where's the smaller one where I look smaller and it's bigger? Let's see. Is it this one? No, that's the one I have. It's this one. They want to restore the magic. I think it is really interesting. I think that if you have, a company that's worth this much and, they're like, we have to do something, please help. We have to do something. It's really, really important. Did you ever think in a million years you would see something like this for a company when they're talking about this, trying to improve content? So will it make a difference? Let's say they do this and they change things around and you know maybe it will help to drive the streaming strategy for the company, because I think anybody who's ever subscribed to um anybody who's ever subscribed to Disney Plus knows that it's just a fraction of the content that they own that we're seeing. We're not seeing everything. We're only seeing maybe a small fraction of what's available. Let me turn off the virtual. You can see my bedroom better. But you were only seeing a small fraction of the content that's available on Disney Plus. And the idea that we're not the only ones noticing that the content is suffering and that's going to has a deleterious effect on the value of shares. I never thought I would see this. What are some of your thoughts? Um, let's see what we got here. Darth Vader says too much social engineering, sidelining people who know what they're doing, replacing them with allies. And Mario says, regardless of politics, I think everyone agree that Willow, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan shows are objectively bad quality content. Yeah. Yeah. Darth Vader says content creation is being held hostage by social media goons who fancy themselves as Neo Sankolat. Tom Jr. Jackson says, I don't know, and I don't know others who don't either. Interesting. I think Stubble says, I think the letter is from Pelt's investment group, and he's an activist investor who invests in companies to make changes. It's part of an internal struggle within Disney. Yeah, and I I have to say, I never thought I would ever see an official document, because this is an official document. Restore the magic. Restore the magic. It can't be any clearer than this. They're not happy with how things are. Do you remember a few years ago, an investor asked a question about why the ratings are so low? You know, why are you doing certain things that you're doing? And they kind of didn't know he was going to ask this question during the investor call. I thought it was interesting. I don't always see letters where someone is doing this. And I think what it also is showing is that they want to document the harm that's occurring, because I think maybe in from their point of view, there are some people who do need to see it written like in a written form. They need to see a written document. They need to see numbers and things in front of them before they'll take action, even if they were warned that things may not be received as well, or that the value of the shares are going down. They have to see it in writing. They have to see it in black and white. There are some people who are like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that that's what this is for too, because I don't think there's anybody who can dispute that the content is, let's say, the best they've ever done. Is there anybody, is there absolutely anybody who can say that the content that Disney has been putting out is the best that they've ever done and that it's getting better and better? Is there anybody that can say that? And I guess if you can't, you can argue that the magic is gone and they want to restore the magic. They want it back to the way things used to be, where you could watch a Disney film and you didn't have to worry about it because it always had an incredible story that that you could let your kids watch with you. A lot of times you wouldn't have to watch it because you knew exactly what to expect. Are you guys surprised by this? Just to get your opinion, that's the question of the week. Is, are you surprised by this action from these partners talking about restoring the magic? Can they restore the magic? Will they be successful? What do you think the outcome for this will be? Stavros says, you let midgets play midget characters. You let Boba stay helmeted. You let Obi-Wan be a badass Jedi. Jesus, he is the fan edit was better. Yes. Yes. You're talking about the Pattison cut. And I met him. I met this guy. At a con about a year and a half ago. No, what, Mario? No to what? Just go ahead and rephrase what you're saying, Mario, so I know what you're talking about. And Darth Plato talks about the French Revolution. Liberté, égalité, fraternité. Yes, certainly. That is something there. All right, guys. Well, Stavros says, is Walking Dead on the record books for the most spin-offs? Perhaps they are. But even The Walking Dead knows when something works and when it doesn't. And I'm wondering if, in a sense, this is going to work. I'm assuming that you mean no, it's not going to work, Mario. No, you're not surprised by the letter. Okay. You're not surprised by the letter. Okay. I was surprised. I didn't think anybody would even bother to put it into writing, the actual problems that we are seeing and that people are noticing. And I'm just absolutely, I'm glad that somebody is saying something. I'm glad it's being documented. Mind you, it doesn't take it doesn't take an analyst to look at the company to tell you that there's a problem. It doesn't take that. What I do think is interesting is that someone decided to take action in this manner. Let's see. The Old Yorkshire Geek says, given its outlay, Disney should be making several times more profit than they currently are. It's time for business people to run Disney again and not activists. Okay, fair enough. And it is very interesting. I think I was not expecting, Mario was not surprised by the letter. I was not expecting this to even see the light of day or for it to even enter into the boardroom, so to speak. I just wasn't expecting even the shareholders to get something like this. And I think that I'm not a shareholder, so I'm speaking from looking outside in. I think that many of these shareholders cannot be happy with the outcomes. They haven't gotten dividends in years. There's a lot of stuff that they haven't been getting that they should have been getting. And let's see what happens with this. but it kind of also feels like it might be a long time before anything can happen with something like this. I don't know what the procedures are for this company. According to Cameron, he said that it is different things going on. But they even have a website called restorethemagic.com as well. Uh, so that's something else to think about. Here it is. They actually have a website regarding this issue, and I'll present it here. Oh gosh. Okay. Just to give you an idea. And Restore the Magic at the Walt Disney Company. And it says, and this is what you were saying. This is what you were saying, Old Yorkshire Geek. They believe Disney is the world's greatest entertainment company. Yeah, I think definitely it is. But it hasn't performed for shareholders. We want this beloved company to live up to its potential for shareholders and generations. Yeah, I am concerned about the legacy because let's say it fell off. Let's say Disney kind of fell off their traditional route, what they normally do for the last 15 years, let's say. Maybe it's been 15 years. Um, I think that in the history of Disney, they can get back on track. I think they can. Um, and it says, they're going forward. I think this is a positive step. But I just also want to see it to actually make a difference, I want to see it make a difference. They want to restore the magic. Here it says, Disney shareholders and fans are not feeling the love. Let me see if I can make this smaller so you can see the whole thing. Okay. So here they're saying that the fans, shareholders and fans are not feeling the love. So it's not just people who own stock in Disney. We already know that there's some concerns. Yeah, that's something to think about, right? Miss Martin Muses says they thought they could slap the word Disney on something and people would blindly take it in. Yeah, and that's really true, isn't it? We're kind of seeing that. Certainly, the bait and switch of a lot of things where we think we're going to get something and then it's not what we were expecting. Certainly not what we were expecting from the history and the quality of Disney. The quality seems to have taken a hit. These are not new things. I just really think it's amazing that someone has created a site where they're going to address it and they're not going to let the company tell the shareholders that the shareholders don't have a right to be concerned about the value of the company, the integrity, and about not feeling the love. It's a legitimate concern, not feeling the love, right? You remember when we all used to love Disney? You remember that love? I want that love to come back. How I know some people are quite skeptical and don't want to even think about Disney, but I want the love to come back. I want the love to come back and I want to feel those good feelings and thoughts and things that I used to. Um but yeah, so was I off the air? Was I a little technical blurb? Thank you, Stavros, for mentioning that. I sure hope I'm still on now. But let me just see here so I can normally I watch I have it playing in another place and I can see what's on. But I want to feel the love of Disney. I don't want there to be a situation where we're not seeing that. Um why not let us be able to enjoy all the good stuff in their original versions, right? Don't you guys enjoy the original versions of some of these things? And we can kind of see this great love replaced by self-loathing degenerated to projecting onto consumers. But you know something? You're right. And it needs to be fixed. I think that they're going in the right direction. I think something does need to be done. I think that this notion of trying to fix it is important. Disney 40 down, 40% S&P, all these other self-selected media peers are all, they're looking at a return of a 10-year. I don't even know if I understand the whole chart. A performing artist says, are you a fan of Jenna Elfman? She was on Walking Dead for a little while too. Yeah, I like Jenna Elfman. I used to like her on a show that she was on television. The show was called God, what was it called? She was supposed to be sort of like a bohemian woman who married a conservative man. And it was a great show. What was it called? It was called let's see if I can remember. Let's see what it was called. It was called Dharma and Greg. And I watched that show. I watched every single episode of Dharma and Greg. I really liked it. Yeah. So yes, I am a fan of Gemma Elfman. And yeah, she was, I can't remember if she was on The Walking Dead, but gee, a performing artist for $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for that. I so appreciate it. It's very generous of you to do that, and it is so appreciated. I might cover, I kind of regret not covering Daryl Dixon, the series, The Walking Dead. So I might actually review it again because I didn't really get a chance to properly review it the way I wanted to. So I might go ahead and do something with it. But it is something to think about. I loved her in Dharma and Greg. Guys, if you ever watched that show, you should watch Dharma and Greg. She was so lovely in the series. Did you watch Dharma and Greg, a performing artist? I loved her in that. God, she was so good in that. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. You were so kind. Thank you, performing artist. And Dark Plato says, what people don't understand is that this didn't originate in Hollywood. It comes from the university. Yeah, it comes from the universities. It comes from a lot of places, right, Dark Plato? And there has to be change. Certainly, even if they don't understand where it came from, Dark Plato, I think that going forward, I hope that this action they're taking will make a difference, not just for them, but for us, because we enjoy Disney, right? It has to change there. Yeah. Jenna Elfman was a great channel, has a great channel. Oh, I didn't know she had a YouTube channel. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. Oh, Darth Plato, did you watch Daryl Dixon a month back? Yeah, I really enjoyed the Daryl Dixon series. It's fantastic. I really want to review that one of these days properly because there was so much in it. Every prompt was perfect. All the beats in the show were perfect. There was nothing ajar, nothing weird. It made total sense. And Daryl shined. Daryl is so amazing. Norman Reedus, and I got to see him up close in New York Comic Con this past fall, and he's amazing. I have a feeling I might run into Norman Reedus again, however, and I will keep you guys posted if I do. Yeah, so let's hope looking at this here they're talking about the value going down, and like I said, none of us needed a chart. Absolutely nobody needed a chart for this, right? None of us needed a chart to see this. I don't even need to look at this chart. It's in writing, but we don't need to see this. Brutal track record. Shareholders have been incredibly poorly served by the Disney board. And that was Elon Musk's comment in January of 2024. Board needs focus, alignment, and accountability. Okay, let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about accountability. Their goal is to hopefully, at least if anything, retain value of the brand, right? It's something to think about when it comes to accountability. Stavros says Disney on life support for reals. They will never recover from. Okay. So Stavros, you don't think they're going to recover, but these guys, I think that they're hopeful. I think that they might have some positive feeling that they will recover. Don't you think so? Hey, Marco. Wow. For a $10 super chat, Marco, thank you for that. 10 pounds. That's even more than $10. Thank you, Marco. You're so generous. I so appreciate it. Says Interstellar 10th anniversary coming up very soon. My favorite film of all time and started me on my piano journey. Oh my goodness, Marco, that's amazing. The sci-fi aspect of that film is secondary to the family story. Yeah, Marco. Um, Interstellar is a classic, and uh, if I don't hear people talking about Interstellar the movie, I always when they're not talking about Interstellar the movie, they're always talking about Interstellar the soundtrack. one of the greatest sci-fi soundtracks of all time. I love it. I love the pulsating part of it. It's almost like a heartbeat through the entire film, and it really does create a wonderful beats and suspense and awe and wonder. Interstellar is just remarkable. I think that for a movie to make a sci-fi film like that, McConaughey was incredible. There's just so much in it that was remarkable. I loved the different worlds that you go to in Interstellar, and the aircraft, as well as the time continuum element. There's nothing cooler than when they recreate the farm and he sees the recreation of the farm, and they have everybody's comments on it, where they're saying, "Well, I remember, and there was a lot of dust, and it was tough growing up at that time." Like, it was so great to see it memorialized, and certainly the history kept there in that way. I mean, when you see something like that of your life or an experience, it's just so amazing. Just really a well done film, a well done fun film, in that regard. And thank you so much. It's your favorite film. Wow. That is amazing. 10th anniversary for Interstellar. And it really does stand apart from a lot of other films. I think it does give that. I like the normalcy in some of these sci-fi films of space travel. Like, space travel is our norm now, and it's comfortable. I was talking about this in some of the reviews I was doing with Julian of For All Mankind. I love the element of having a show or a movie where space travel is the norm and it's accepted and it's just what we do. And I love that in Interstellar. One kind of really interesting part about Interstellar is that he does lose time. He comes back his age, but time is lost for the others, people that he cares about. And that was always the time travelers issue, or I think there was another name for it, but I always love that element. Thank you so much, Marco, for the $10, 10 pound super chat. It's so appreciated. And you go on to say, cornfield chase makes the hairs of my neck stand on end. Yes. And you said you fell asleep the first time around. I like the beginning when they're running after that drone and they're like, "We got to go get the drone, hurry." And it just was really exciting. Really exciting. Okay. Mario, yeah, the time loss does make me emotional too, Marco. There's always a price to pay for it all. And they don't let you forget that. It's quite apparent things have changed, and it's a lot much later. But I love what they made. You know what I also liked were those robots, the ones, I can't remember what they're called, but they have they're so cool looking. They're like these two bars that walk around, like they move around like this. They are so amazing looking. I love those robots. I want one of them. I wish I had one of them here now, so I could get stuff done. But I really enjoyed it. It's not called Bart, is it? What was the name of those robots? Tars. Thank you. Yeah, I really wish I had one. I could use Tars right now, and yeah, I really loved them. They were amazing. Yeah, it's a great film. Mario Lopez says some of the Walking Dead's new zombies are faster and smarter, and that's a good thing. For me, the decline of the series is related to the fact that zombies were not dangerous. Yeah, I agree, and I think that they had to reinvent it, right? Because it seems like they're evolving, Mario, and it's like, how many years is it later? Do we even know? Because it's not all those kids grew up, or some of them grew up. We watched Daryl's, not Daryl. Um, we watched one or two kids grow up from they were children and then they became more adolescents, and now we saw another jump. It's got to be close to 20 years later since the original outbreak, right? Um, it's got to be 20 years. Something's going to happen. I have no idea. Um, what's happening with these new walkers. They do look evolved. I feel even sorry. For the first time ever, I actually felt sorry for a walker when they injected him with that weird solution and his head exploded. It was terrible. I can't believe I felt sorry for a walker. I never thought The Walking Dead would make me feel sorry for a walker, but I did. I felt very sorry for him. He was just there. They manipulated his body and made him into something that was quite frightening. Only God knows, Mario, where it's going to lead, right? All right, guys. So here they actually even now I am not the person. I am not the person who knows anything about this. Disney's non-management directors have watched the shareholders' returns have lagged. So they're saying on their watch, look at what's happened to during their tenure. Look at what's happened. Look at what's happened to Disney's value, their returns. And as far as I know, they don't get their dividends, which is a big bonus when you are a stockholder and a shareholder of a company. Um, you're supposed to get dividends, and it's like these payouts every month of the profit. And it's more complicated than that. Okay. But when I had heard that they were stopping dividends, or they had stopped dividends a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know if they've been restored, but I was very surprised to hear that too. It's one of the advantages of owning the stock is the dividends. So that was stopped. Darth Plato says, seems like The Walking Dead has changed from horror to sci-fi. Yeah, yeah, maybe it has no choice but to do that. But to be honest with you, I find those new walkers quite horrifying. And I don't think people can outrun them or get away from those when someone is controlling them. All right. Stavros says, yes, caught up last and don't know about the stock much either. Yeah, I don't, but look at these numbers. And of course, as I said, we didn't need a chart. Did I need a chart to tell me this? No, I didn't need a chart to tell me this, that we have uh Disney shares taking huge dips in price. Meanwhile, other shares are going up, and they're talking about who's invested in the future of Disney. And it says that the CEO has sold more than $1 billion since 2005 and only owns 19 million. And Disney's non-management directors collectively only own 14 million. Meanwhile, the rest of the stockholders, like Trian, remain deeply invested in the hoped for turnaround at Disney. Their nominees, the board nominees, whose names are there, still believe in the magic of Disney. And so I think that's interesting. I had no idea that this was even that situation. So that's interesting. Here's another comment. Over the past year, Disney has struggled mightily with a surprising number of flops, declining along with massive losses in its streaming business. And they're looking for a turnaround. So there are some people who are involved in the business who want to turn around. They want to turn around. And they're recommending these guys here. These guys believe that Disney's board needs a highly qualified, truly independent directors whose interests align with shareholders as we work to restore the magic. So this is some very interesting. This is essentially like their resume of how these individual directors have been able to increase or at least maintain the quality and help with investments in business as CEOs, as COOs, or as a whatever CO, whatever their title is and what they've overseen. Here we can see their accomplishments here. This might be also true of some of the other people who are on the board that they don't care for. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it is really interesting that they covered every area that I think a person who is involved with the company or is invested would want to know that that's being done. So yeah, it's something to think about, at least when it comes to the stock of this company. Um, I think they can do it. I think this is going to work. I think they're going to turn things around. However, I just hope that if they do turn things around and there's a shift of let's say executive people who are going to now be running things, that it's not going to devalue the company. And I don't think that the company can really afford to have any more devalues. Even if you throw in the most incredible person running the business, if there's no, real value to the company and they have to end up selling off things and losing things, which has been talked about, it would be a shame to see Disney end up that way. Gosh, what if Disney ended up completely breaking up and it didn't exist anymore? Can we imagine a world without Disney as an entertainment company? Could that ever happen? Something to think about. All right. Mario Lopez says the walker was the most sorry to see was Carol's daughter leaving. Yeah, that was sad. That was sad. Of course, that's early on in The Walking Dead, and quite a surprising episode. Um, it was quite shocking. Shocking. Yeah, Stavros agrees. That part where Sophia bursts out. Her name is Sophia. Where Sophia, they're looking for Sophia because she's lost amongst like a horde of walkers, and she ends up being one of the walkers that's caught by Herschel and put into the barn. So when they bust open the barn, when I can't remember the guy's name, Bernthal is the actor's name, but I don't remember the character's name. When he opens up the barn and they're all crying because these walkers, essentially those walkers are Herschel's family and friends who are in there, and out pops Sophia, and gosh, and it just was unbelievable seeing that happen. Shane, thanks so much, Darth Plato and Mario. It was Shane who bursts open the garage, and of course they have to put her down. It was really sad. Maybe one of Carol's best performances, I think. Uh, so yeah, The Walking Dead has had so many great moments. I'm looking forward to the con next year. Hopefully, they'll have another Walking Dead panel. The Walking Dead panel from 2023 at New York Comic Con was amazing, as I said, with Norman, who was there, and of all the usual suspects were there at the conference as well. I wanted to go and ask a question, but I wasn't fast enough. But I was going to run up there and ask a question about Daryl and his character development, but I didn't get a chance to. All right, guys. All right. So with that being said, Rick is back soon. Yeah. Hopefully Rick is back, and I'm hoping that Rick um and Michonne can pull things back together, that we get a good series. Of course, there's going to be a season 2 for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. It's actually called The Book of Carol. So Carol will be back as well. So that's coming up. But it's going to be exciting to see what they do with the series going forward. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. It was such a pleasure seeing all of you today. Certainly do appreciate all of your comments and these generous super chats today. I don't know whether she's going to France, but they did show a little bit of her looking for Daryl. Maybe she will, just to locate him. God knows. God knows Daryl needs the help. Um, yes, it was. And so, yes, guys, you enjoy your day. I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson for being my moderator, collaborator, and good friend here. I also want to thank the generous super chats for $4.99 from a performing artist. Thank you so much. So appreciate your generosity, as well as Marco for the 10-pound super chat. Wow. Thank you so much, Marco, making us think about Interstellar and, of course, The Walking Dead, guys. Tom Jr. Jackson, thank you for everything, as always. We are all goof people, Tom. Um, was this the one? Was this it, a performing artist about Jenna Elfman? Um, was there another one? Because I think I did read this one to you, and we talked about it, a performing artist, where you were talking about The Walking Dead and Jenna, and that's when I was talking about Jenna Elfman being on Dharma and Greg. So was that the one you were referring to? um let's see, I think that might be the one. um so I hope that was it. Yeah, I talked about Dharma and Greg. Did you watch Dharma and Greg as well, performing artist? Um, I did enjoy her in that too. And thanks so much. Um, and of course, that old Yorkshire geek who says, all the best. Have a great Sunday, everybody. And if you're in the UK, batten down the hatches. Oh, you're getting another storm? Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. We've been getting storm after storm after storm. I'm going to be glad when this winter is over. I hope all of you are staying nice and warm. Thanks, guys, for being here. And please don't forget to check out my other channel, Roman Empire Matters, which I'm going to be uploading more content on. I just haven't gotten the chance to do it, but it is coming. I want to thank you all for being here again. Hope everybody is well, and I certainly will see you next week, guys. Yes. Yeah, it might have been Fear the Walking Dead, but I'm not sure. Joe Tyson, we were talking about that. And that old Yorkshire Geek says, "All the best. Have a great Sunday, everybody." And if you're in the UK, oh yeah, you did say that. I repeated it. Yes, guys, I believe I did do that. Uh, for you. So, a performing artist, I hope you are well. Guys, I hope everybody has a great weekend. It was great seeing you all, and I will be back next week on Sunday to do all the parlay in the fandom. Um, so good to see you. Thank you, everybody, for all the support. And guys, remember, no matter where you are in the galaxy, always remember to please be kind. Take care, everybody.